Hey guys, HW back in the city, and as you can see behind me, the umbrellas are out. It's still raining cats and dogs in Sydney. In fact, it's the wettest August we've had in 27 years. It's been raining every day. Sydney-siders going absolutely nuts, pulling their hair out, because even for us it's a lot of rain. And on top of that, we've had the most rain in Sydney for the last 6 years since records were starting to be recorded at Observatory Hill back in 1858. So it's well and truly been a real flood that we've been getting lately in Sydney. So for you folk that want to come for the sun, probably a good idea that you try to pick a time when there's a drought, because in Oz it's either drought or it's flood, and we seem to be in the flood period at the moment. I did read somewhere where it said that the wind was starting to tend from the east a bit more, and there was warmer sea temperatures that were causing it. But if it doesn't stop soon, we're going to have not just the trees falling down, we're going to have buildings start to crumble, I reckon. But anyway, the plan today, we're going to have a little bit of a look around, and we are going to do a little bit of indoor stuff because I don't want to get my shoes wet. And first cab off the rank, I'm going to make my way over to my favourite Thai/Malaysian joint and get something to eat. And then we'll get around the traps and have a look at how Sydney-siders are handling the rain. One thing I've noticed since I've been standing in the foyer of number 44 Martin Place just here is that a lot of the punters are getting out early to secure their food before the rush. So hopefully I get a seat over at my favourite place. King Street looking pretty miserable in the wet as well. Let's get through Pitt Street. I don't normally mind a bit of rain myself, but it has been absolutely ridiculous how much we've been getting. And it's getting towards that time of year where kids have their end of year sports finals and stuff, and all the grounds are getting washed out. So I don't know how they're going to overcome that. When I say end of year, I mean like end of the winter sports season for a lot of the kids. Now I've got to think about this. How am I going to get down the end of Pitt Street that I need to get to under shelter? I do have my umbrella, but I'd rather not use it. It looks like I'm going to have to. Might keep my umbrella up here as we pass under this work site. Some of you that have been watching for a while will remember my story about walking under the work site like this back in Surrey Hills in the day. I won't go into it in detail, but because some of the long-termers will know what I mean, but basically involved some certain fluids from a work site up above drooping down onto me. Imagine portable restrooms and that, and you'll get the picture. Wow, look at this crazy golf cart here. Some massive suspension on it. Yeah, I'm quite surprised how many people are walking the streets. I thought they'd be huddling inside. Had enough of this line, I'm going to get across the road. Guy behind us is giving us a lesson on the GST, the Goods and Services Tax, VAT for some of you folk over in Europe. And Park Street looking pretty miserable in the wet as well. Yeah, what's going on? Why is there so many people walking around in the wet? Alright, let's get in here and get some taka.
How are you, sir?
I'll get crispy chicken and I have steamed veggies.
Regularly.
That one there.
Regular rice, steamed rice,
Yeah, that one. And beef curry. Thanks, mate. Oh, I've got my Malacca Straits. I'm going to absolutely demolish this. While I'm devouring this, let me read you a story of some English expat that moved over to Sydney, what he said about the weather. He says, no one tells you this before you move to Australia. I'm from the UK, known for terrible weather, and I have never experienced rain like I have since moving to Sydney. Every single time it rains, it's a downpour. The raindrops hit you and it's almost like you're being shot. I'm going to the gym and it's 400 metres away. It's too wet for me to want to take my bike, and I can't walk in this. It's ridiculous. So I'm catching the bus. And that's from an article in news.com.au on the August 19. Title: British expat reveals shock at Sydney's rainy weather. Smashed it. Smashed it. Oh, I'll leave this delightful little food court behind. I must say though, it didn't taste the same as usual, which was quite disappointing. Shout out to my mate DH in Camden. It looks like they've wrecked Malacca for us, mate. Doesn't taste the same. Oh, out into the rain now. It's in front of Town Hall. Gonna have to escape to the underground in a minute. Plenty of umbrellas on George Street. Light rail whipping up and down. Oh, down into the bowels underneath Town Hall and Queen Victoria building. All the punters using the tunnels like lemmings to escape the inclement weather above. I'm actually going to head into the QVB because I want to take a view. I wonder what's behind door 417 in the QVB. I tell you what, it's not easy getting a view of the QVB anymore. Every landing that's got a bit of a view has got a coffee shop on it now. At least I sneak a little view here anyway. Do you see what I mean? And that little bridge there's got a coffee shop sitting on it. It's coffee shops galore. You can see all the punters right down the bottom. That's the tunnel that makes it between the Town Hall station and Myer, Grace Brothers old building. Myer these days. There's that coffee shop down there that I always admire. The one just there, I always want to have a coffee there, and it's always, all the seats are always taken. Doesn't matter what time of the day I come through. Oh, there's a seat there between those two ladies there, but I'm sure she's probably keeping it for one of her acquaintances. I was going to walk out into York Street. I looked out there, the wind was howling and the rain was coming through like a sheet of like steel and glass. So I thought, nah, I'm not going out there. So come out to George Street instead. Get around and have a look at a few more indoor spots. Let's take a view through this window at the punters passing by outside Myer. That's the intersection of George and Market Street there, if you didn't know. We've done this before, but let's do it again. Let's watch the punters tuck into their food in the Myer food court. Geez, there's a lot of KFC bags in amongst the scrum. A couple of McDonald's. Doesn't matter how many times I come through Myer, I always struggle to find these walkways between Myer and Westfield. Still, they scurry up and down the Pitt Street Mall. Look at that rain on the window. Just standing outside David Jones, just across the road from St James's Station now. Trying to get a bit of a view of the rain. This is what it's been like in Sydney for weeks and weeks and weeks. Usually August is quite mild, but this year just miserable conditions. Like I said before, Sydney is, and Australia is drought or flood. There's no in between. Look at that poor delivery rider over there. Battling the rain to deliver some office workers' food. I quite like these window displays for Louis Vuitton. Shout out whoever the designer was that did these windows up in David Jones. Done a bloody good job. Look at this scooters made out of luggage. Yeah, that green one looks awesome. Yeah, nice. Now I need a coffee stat. I have promised to have one in here one day, but I can't see any tables. They've all been raided. I'm going to have to walk on. Yeah, as we get down Castlereagh Street here, look at it bucketing down. Absolutely disgusting. There's a little walk tunnel we were standing in just before. Oh no, it wasn't that walk tunnel, it was the one on Pitt Street that was standing in. Give myself an uppercut. But yeah, there's a tunnel that goes from Westfield into the David Jones ladies store as well. Yeah, so this morning I tried to drive to the station so I didn't get wet. And mostly what I was trying to do is avoid getting my shoes wet. I hate my shoes getting wet in the rain. And of course when I got down there was no parking spaces at the station. So I had to drive back, and I then went about placing plastic bags over my shoes and precariously walking down the street, almost slipping over plastic bags on my feet. People were looking at me like I was like a murderer or something, trying to hide my tracks. And when I got to the station, I don't know how, my shoes were still wet. I don't know whether just the little walk caused condensation to form in the bag and wet my shoes. I don't know, but it's bloody crazy. Look at the water kicking off St James's Arcade here, off the building facade. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. You got to pick your time to come to Oz, because it's either flood or drought. Oh, a little bit of David Jones history here. These are the original hats worn by the bellboys in David Jones. There's a couple of decorative Wedgwood items here, or Wedgwood pieces, signifying the 150th anniversary of David Jones. I know these trophies are down the bottom. Oh, various sporting teams that David Jones sponsored over the years and the trophies they won. Celebratory champagne obviously handed out to the staff on one of the anniversaries. Some old teddy bears. David Jones logos on it. What's it say? David Jones teddy bear celebrating 160 and 170 years. Old typewriters. Look at the old charge cards for the store. That one in the middle of those three there in a line, pretty sure my mum had one of those. So now we've got to find somewhere to water our horses in David Jones. Oh, back under the umbrella, walking along Castlereagh. That guy almost killed himself sliding on that manhole cover in his leather shoes. Lots of traps for the punters in Sydney. I almost tripped over myself just then. A bloody bit of the pavement gave way. The workman hadn't put it back properly. It was folded up. Now I've got a bit of a dilemma. Where am I gonna have coffee today? Need to get my thinking cap on. I wonder if there's a coffee shop in the State Library. We're not far away from that. Maybe we can sneak one in up there. Give us something different to look at as well. I tell you what, when I was in the QVB before, the number of tourists in there was crazy. It's a favourite of the tourists, the old QVB. Yeah, look at that as we look down Martin Place. It's looking almost apocalyptic, that scene. Dirty grey clouds crawling over top. Ground wet as hell. You wouldn't read about it. I made my way over to the library only to find out that it's bloody closed for renovations, or at least the modern part of the library anyway. It's telling me that around the corner I can get into the old historical building, but with a number of people around it's likely to be packed. And my shoes are wet now. Great. Let's see if we have better luck in this entrance. Tell you what, even the paving along here is all subsiding. Again, probably because of all the bloody rain we've been getting. It's a little room called the Shakespeare Room. I can say with a fair amount of confidence that I've never been in this room. Let's check out this cafe. I'm dying. Oh, in the Dixon room in this cafe. It's called the Library Cafe. A few books for sale in here. Looking out into the hallway, the entrance where we came in. A few seats out there and around the corner as well. Full of punters devouring coffee and food. Oh, the flat white has arrived. Albeit a bit of disappointment that wasn't served in a ceramic cup. It is a sit-in coffee. If I wanted a takeaway cup, I would have grabbed it from one of the coffee stands. Sort your business out, State Library of New South Wales. Oh, the rain continues. Finished up in the State Library. Waiting for the robot train. Robot train. Much later on, I'm reviewing the scores from the footy again tonight. The Bunnies won 40-0. The video is over.